Okay, in the last class we have seen just the preliminary works, what is needed for our uh, next expression we are going to derive is based on this particular expression, that the total change in any variable, dependent variable, can be written in terms of the partial derivative over x with constant y times dx, partial derivative with y uh, with constant x and times delta y. Okay, this is a very useful expression that we are going to uh, take up this in order to derive the Maxwell relations. Before that, I also want to tell you that one more property of this particular partial differential, we have an important property which will be useful to derive that expression. So let me do that first. So dot t by dot x at y dx plus dot t by dot y at x delta y. Notice that these two expressions, so let's suppose what I want to do, I will take this expression and I will do one thing. Let's call this thing as m and let's call this thing as n. I'll take out my m and I will do what? I will in order to derive a property, I will do this dou m by dou y, and what I will do here, I will do n. What I will do with n is I will partially derive this particular n with x, and let's see what happens. Okay, agree? So this dot t by dou x, I will call this as m. So this dot t by dou x, I will call this m, and n I will call dot t by dou y. And now with this expression, I'm going to do partial differential of m with y and partial differential of n with x. So let's see what happens. So dou by dou y, what is my m? M is dot t by dou x. And here what happens? Dou by dou y, dou by dou x. What is n? Dot t by dou y. That is what we assumed. See what thing you get? Dou to t by dou x dou y. Here also you get dou to t by dou x dou y. Okay. So you, okay, so this is not m. Okay, I am just, what I'm doing, I am differentiating m with y and just writing some expression. So we'll see that dou my dou y is essentially equal to dou n by dou x. This is a property that we have derived, where m, I told that m, I will assume that it would be dou t by dou x, and n, I will assume that dou t by dou y. Nothing to confuse here, right? We just told that this expression is again partial derivative, and this partial derivative with, so essentially this terms, this whole terms partial derivative with again y, and this whole terms partial derivative, the whole term with x, give me equal things. That is what I am telling, nothing more. Okay, please this thing, keep this thing in mind. Let's suppose this is my equation 2. Let's suppose this is my equation 1. Okay, nothing more than this is just a mathematical glitch, not glitch, I'll tell, mathematical tricks, I could say, tricks we could use. Obviously mathematics, if something is coming out from mathematics, it is true. I mean, no matter what, it has to happen. Okay, mathematics will never tell you wrong things. Okay. So this is the property what I deduced. Okay, so in general, what my equation is, delta t is equal to m times delta x plus n times delta y, where m and n follows this. That's all. So these two things you have to remember. You will have total differential, something like this, and where n and m should follow this. Dou m by dou y should be equal to dou n by dou x. Okay. Having said that, these things, now let's come to derive our proper Maxwell equations. So in Maxwell equation, before Maxwell equation, I want you guys to memorize, not memorize, to recall, rather recall. This is the correct word. Recall our Gibbs equations. So you guys remember what are the Gibbs equations? We have already told somewhere in our lectures, in some of the lectures. Any idea?
Sir, cannot recall right now.
Okay, so no issue. So let me write the Gibbs equations in this fashion. So it's nothing abrupt. Basically, Gibbs equation is du is equal to TdS minus PdV and dH in terms of TdS plus VdP. These two relations are, we call these two relations as Gibbs equations, and we have already used this. So where does these things come from? So let me go one step back and let me recall our first law of thermodynamics. We can start with that. So first law of thermodynamics tells that du is equal to du is equal to dq plus dw. Okay, this is the usual first law. And in second law, we told that this dq, remember, we told that this dq as, or we remember ds is equal to dq by t, right? So we can actually write dq as tds, right? Tds over here, all are small, plus w is what? P times dv. Oh, did I do something wrong? Okay, here it should be minus sign. Why? Yes, it's
That's the basic first law.
basic first law, right? Right. This should be here. So we know that, right? So this term you can du, you can actually write in this way. Okay. Now let's derive this h. Let us go one step back and let us derive this dh. So h, we told that this is our modified variable. So let me rub this, otherwise you will get confused. Okay, so h is equal to what? This is my modified variable p plus not u plus pv, right? Now let me do the differentiation. Dh is equal to du plus pv. Now you can do du plus dpv and du is plus pdv plus vdp. Okay. Okay, now what? So we got this already. VdP is got. So okay, we write something here? U plus PdV. Yes, U plus PdV. U plus PdV. We get TdS here. TdS plus VdP. Okay. So yes, this we got it here. So these two relations are nothing but are the derivation from first law itself. So nothing more. But first law is being written in terms of entropies and temperatures. So that is the only difference this Gibbs relation is all about. So nothing to worry. What is Gibbs equation? Gibbs equation is essentially the derivation from first law. That's all. Okay, so these are the two Gibbs equations. Okay, we need to write two more. Okay, and let's see how. So these are two Gibbs equation, and let me write other two Gibbs equation. So in order to write other two Gibbs equation, what we do that we assume two new variables, two new modified variables, like enthalpy. So enthalpy was my modified, one of the modified variables. This has no implicit meaning, rather it is a addition of internal energy and flow work. Yeah, that is what we defined enthalpy. Enthalpy, it's kind of modified variable. So another two modified variables we choose. So one we choose A, and we call this as Helmholtz function. Okay, nothing to worry about. I mean, this is just a name. Okay, we call this A as U minus TS. Remember H I call U plus PV with no implicit meaning, right? We just do this in order to get some of the properties in shape. Okay, nothing more than that. Similarly, Helmholtz function is subtraction of internal energy with TS. Nothing more physical. I mean, you should not seek physical aspect of this particular equation. It is just a mathematical construct, you could say. Yes, mathematical constructs. Mathematical construct. It's there. I just want to define in this way, and we call that this as Helmholtz function. Some fancy names. Okay. Another modified variable I want to choose is G as H minus TS, and this is again a mathematical construct, nothing more in it. And this function they call it Gibbs function. That the Gibbs function is different from Gibbs equation. Okay, try to bifurcate between these two things. This Gibbs function is different from Gibbs equation. So this is Gibbs function is again another modified variable in terms of H minus TS, Helmholtz function U minus TS. Okay, now what we do, we differentiate. Let's take A, and we do dA is equal to du minus dTs. We call this du minus TDS minus STD, right? We can do both way. You guys have problem with doing this? No? Yes? Somebody tell me. So remember, you have. Sir. Okay, so I don't have to go. Okay, let me do for someone if he is not. If you have fx times gx and you are derivating with x, you call what you do? Yes, f dgx by dx plus gx and dfx by dx, right? You do this way. So okay, and this dx is explicit everywhere, so we can actually drop this term and we can write in terms of total differential. We can directly write. Okay, there's nothing more in it. Okay. Okay, and this g I can write in this fashion. dg is equal to dh. Again, I can write d times ts dh minus tds minus s, all are small, s t dt. Okay, now what could we do? Okay, what we do is we du I want to substitute it over here, and dh I want to substitute it over here. and let's see what happens. So this dA I will write dA is equal to TdS minus PdV minus TdS minus STD, and this goes away, and you are left with minus SDT minus PdV. Okay, this one is one relation. So let me write it over fresh in fresh page. I will write, okay, anyway. So dg I can write again by substituting similar thing. Dg is dh is equal to TdS plus VdP. Okay, and where is my dh? Okay, minus TdS and minus SDT. Okay, and this also goes, and now I can write minus SDT plus VdP. Okay. Freshly let me write all the 4 Gibbs equations. So this is my 2 Gibbs equation, and this is my another 2 Gibbs equation in the form of Helmholtz function and Gibbs function. So let me write all 4. Okay. So let me write all 4 functions in this fashion. So du was TdS minus PdV, dH is equal to TdS. So why I'm doing this exercise? To tabulate my property table actually. Okay, I mean the whole idea of doing all these exercises is to tabulate my property table. That's all. Okay, nothing more physical into it, right? So this chapter is more of mathematical construct. Okay, nothing more physical around it. Okay, another Gibbs function is, so dA is equal to minus SDT minus PdV, and dG is equal to minus SDT plus VdP. So these collectively are called 4 Gibbs equations. Okay, now recall this particular thing, what we have told this. Let me write this thing again for the sake of clarity there. So some function total derivative is equal to m times dx and n times dy plus n times dy, where m is equal to where not m, where dou m by dou y must be equal to dou n by dou x. Mathematically we have shown that. Sorry, so where this property holds, simply where m and n relates each other with this manner. So dou m by dou y equal to dou n by dou x. Okay, now relate everything over here with this particular equation, everything. So let's first relate this. So instead of du, we have written over here, this is du, this, let's suppose this du is dt. Okay, your function is here internal energy, here is some t function which was multivariable, and TdS. So let's write TdS over here plus minus of, I can write PdV. Okay, now if at all these 2 equations are analogous in terms of total differential, obviously this is the total differential we are talking about, total change or total differential we are looking at. So it should follow this property as well. Okay, so from here we can tell now that dou T. So this is my M, this is my N. So minus sign would be here, right? Please try to. You guys should be careful. Okay, so dou T, dou M by dou Y. So dou T by dou Y. So Y is dV. So dou T by dou V at. So this was at constant X. This was at constant Y, right? So this was at constant constant S must be equal to minus dou P by dou S at constant V. And that's it. You got your first relation. So this is your first Maxwell relation. Yeah, that's it. And with this is very useful. This tells you how your temperature, specific volume, entropy, pressure, entropy, specific volumes are connected to each other. Okay, this is very strong thing. We'll show how you are going to evaluate things from the property table, and we'll see that things are validating from this relation as well. Okay, so let's recall and write the second Maxwell equation, second Maxwell relation. So dH, TdS, VdP. Okay, similarly we will do that, and we'll take that dou T by dou P at constant S must be equal to dou V by dou S at constant P. Yes, this is your second Maxwell equation. Third Maxwell equation I can write is minus S, sorry, minus dou S by dou V at constant T is equal to minus dou P by dou T times at constant entropy. Yes, this is your fourth one. So obviously minus sign and minus sign you can cancel out. And the fourth Maxwell relation comes out to be similar fashion. This is your S, M, this is your M. You can relate dou M by dou Y. So minus dou S by dou P at constant T must be equal to dou V by dou T time at constant S. So these four relations are collectively called Maxwell relation. And now you can this actually relates your pressure, specific volume, temperatures with that of entropy and internal energy. Okay, so if you have the slopes of change, slopes of maybe pressure, volume, or temperature, or the given data are P, V, and G, you can actually reduce your entropy and internal energies. Very nice. But there was a shortcoming for this Maxwell equation. What is that? Can somebody tell me? Yes, it cannot tell the value of H so far, or change in H or HFG or anything. Okay, so there comes something called Clapeyron equation. We'll take up few examples in a while, but let me do this derivation. Clapeyron equation. And Clapeyron equation is essentially is telling the relation between PVT with that of enthalpy of vaporizations or enthalpy of phase changes. Enthalpy of phase changes. Okay, so it tells that it is a sort of it is derived from Maxwell equation itself. So we take up Maxwell's third Maxwell equation, and what is my third one? This one. We take up this one and we modify it and do something, and we get the enthalpy data. Let's see how. So d dou s by dou v at constant t is equal to, what is that? Dou p by dou t at s. This is dou p by dou t at constant volume. Okay, notice that when you are undergoing a phase change process, your this p is not a partial derivative on t. It would be a total derivative on t. Why? Because your pressure, saturation pressure, because of the phase change, you should talk about saturation pressures, will be solely a function of temperature only, saturation temperature only. Okay, that is why this p has a implicit dependence on temperature only, not other variables, not volume or some other variables. So we can actually write this thing as dp by dt at saturation condition must be equal to dou s by dou v at t. And now these things are actually written in terms of, so change in entropy between phase changes is Sg minus Fs. I'm sorry. You can write this as Sg minus S F, and this you can write Vg minus Vf. You can write it. Okay, so now we have come across this. So we can actually write S Fg by Vfg. In short, we have one such relation, and we can use, so since the pressure also remains constant, so we can also use this expression dH is equal to TdS minus plus VdP, and pressure remains constant during this process, and this goes to 0, and dH is equal to TdS. So ds you can write dH by T. Okay, dH by T. More specifically, if I write in terms of SFG, I can write VFG by Tsat. Okay, so we can put it over here. We can write dP by dt at sat is equal to, and VFG and VFG are there. Okay, am I doing something wrong? So it comes out to be, wait, it is written HFG divided by T VFG. So this particular expression, let me look closely. So SFG. Oh, okay, I did a mistake. Here it is H now. Okay, sorry. So now yes, we can now put it here, and we can get this expression. And this expression is called Clapeyron equation. And yes, now you can actually relate things, and you can get the data of HFG. So let me quickly take an example so that it will be more clear. So your question is using Clapeyron equation, estimate the value of the value of enthalpy of vaporization of refrigerant 134A at 20 degrees C and compare with your table, how far you are there. Okay, so through Clapeyron equation you have to estimate HFG of this at this particular temperature and compare it with the table. So what is your HFG? Is this one. So HFG is what? What is your equation? HFG is by TVFG is equal to dP by dt at sat okay. You can you go ahead and find HFG. First you tabulate it on table what is the value of HFG, and then you calculate with this particular question, and let's see how far we are from there. You guys can go and check. So it is telling me to see table A11, A11. Similarly, one more question I will put, and let's take this thing. What is the time? 35. Okay. So let me put down this two equations, and let's do it in probably in the next class, or you can right away you can do your thing. So your question is again verify it. Then this question is based on Maxwell equation. Verify the validity of last Maxwell relation. So what is my last Maxwell relation? Was this one. So you have to verify the validity. Is it valid or not? How to do that? So the last Maxwell equation is this one. Validity of dou S by dou P at constant temperature is equal to minus dou V by dou T at constant pressure. So we need to check the validity of this particular equation for the data for steam at 250 degrees C and 300 kilopascal. Who is this? Okay, so what you should do, and you should, I mean, how to check the validity, how to verify that these two equations are equal or not. So for this steam, go to this temperature, put this temperature over here, go to this pressure, put this pressure over here. It means you have to verify that change in entropy change in entropy with pressure at this temperature 250 degrees C. Go to the table and seek to S1s and S2. So S2 minus S1 you do, and you do for P2 minus P1 at this particular temperature, and you see that if it is equal to dou V by dou T at this particular pressure or not. It means you check for my V2 minus V1 by T2 minus T1. Okay, sorry. At this particular pressure, 300 kPa in table, whether right hand side is matching with your right or left hand side or not. And what is the error that you incur? Okay, so all these things. So this also you can also do that in similar fashion, but these two things I'll take it as a homework for you guys to practice. The idea behind is the whole chapter is we can actually measure pressure, temperature, specific volumes, etc. But we cannot directly measure your entropy values, your enthalpy values, your internal energy values, and so on. Okay, we cannot directly measure. So this is a way, this Maxwell equation, Clapeyron equation. This gives us a way to measure these quantities and form it in a table. So this particular chapter has only this much overview, and we are doing this only, nothing more than that. Okay, no more physical aspects. In the next class, I'll talk about the general relation of du, dh, ds with Cv and Cp. Okay, and this will conclude our chapter. Okay, I will not take things into more details because whatever chapters we have come across previously before this Rankine cycle, power cycle, vapor power cycle, Brayton cycle, all those things are much more important rather than these chapters. Will not do much focus on it, but we do understand, we should understand where these properties are derived from. So in that aspect we will be looking at. Okay, any questions?
Sir,
Sir,
total how many chapters are there in thermodynamics?
So let me open my. So I'm going exactly chapters by chapters. So we have, you can see energy analysis, mass, entropy, and exergy, gas power, power. So we have come across thermodynamic relations. Okay. Now we have gas mixture, gas vapor mixtures. So these two things I will take up till 14, 13 and 14. After that, things are in chemical. These are things that would be more towards chemical engineering. So we will not take up, and this also in aerospace industries. Compressible flows are more often encountered in aero when your aircraft or rocket is cruising. We will not take up this. So maybe we'll take up things till 14 chapter. And gas mixture and gas vapor mixtures and air conditioning, kind of I can take things in conjunction. I mean, I can consolidate things and we'll wrap this particular course. So well, let me see the chemical reaction. What is that? Okay, chemical reaction I will also take, because
Okay,
the reason being the fuel combustion thing is happening over here. So we need to understand this. Okay, so this gas mixture and gas vapor mixtures I'll take consolidately in next chapter, and this chemical reaction I'll take alone. I mean, this is also in essences because your internal combustion engine is associated with fuel consumption, fuel combustion. Okay, and this is important. We'll seek more chemical aspect of your fuel combustion, and this is important. Yes, lean mixture and maybe enthalpy of your combustions. We'll see how far we can go, but not more than this. Okay, this would be our last chapter, and maybe I'll take things more quickly over that. Okay. Or maybe in the next class I will drop this thing. I'll not go into details of this thermodynamic properties anymore, because this, I mean, most of the things I've covered, and the rest of the things you can actually read at things, and things are in shape now. So I'll take gas mixtures and gas vapor mixtures in conjunction, and then chemical reaction. Okay, fine. And that will conclude your whole course. And then after finishing this, what we'll do, we'll try to take up more tutorial classes. Okay, more number of numerical should be, you should tackle. Okay.
and sir, what about the PDF that you are going to give us? That a solution
Okay.
of some numericals.
Okay, I didn't get time, man. I'm not getting time because I'm also.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So what you should do, I mean, see, I mean, better than me, and you have the book. Okay, this book. I'm not doing nothing more than that. Let's see if I'm going that. Let's suppose I'm some problem. Some problem over here. See how nicely it tackles the problem. Let's suppose.
Sir, only problem with this book is that it is soft
Enough.
copy, and studying from a soft copy is really difficult, sir.
Mhm.
Very
Sir,
difficult.
can you do one thing? Can you give some number of? Can you tell the number of sums which are important from that book, so we can refer to that,
Exactly, sir.
because there are many.
Important in
Because
terms
there are
of,
many sums.
no, I mean this. I strongly suggest not to go to the important questions only, but because everything, I mean, there is no meaning of doing that. You take up one question, you see what it is this guy is doing. So assumptions are steady operating condition exists. So steady operation condition exists. So I have to use this equation. So this is the analysis. This is the discussion. This is how you should tackle a question, any question. Nothing more than that. Okay. Or you want me to give you some important questions which would come in exam?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll do that. I will try to tell that. What are the important topics rather I would tell. So
Okay.
mostly I have covered everything, 80 to 90% of the book. So whatever things I have mentioned in my PPTs, I mean, you would expect I would ask from it. Okay, whatever the topics I have left, I might not ask. I will not ask. Or I will prepare. Maybe I will prepare a list then this weekend. I'll give. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.